mainstream followers of all faiths need to get together and marginalize the Muslims, marginalizing the extremists on their side, and also people of other faiths marginalizing this growing Islamophobic movement in the West and now in Europe. You've seen tens of thousands of people marching against Islam in Europe, and that sends a very negative message. It creates this sense of alienation, and it adds to this downward spiral that we all somehow need to get out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the head of CARE here in the United States with his take on the aftermath of the terror attack. Joining us now once again is Anjem Choudary. He's a Muslim cleric in England, recently arrested for some of his comments and his affiliation with the group he represented. Welcome back to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me on.
Okay, I just want to make clear, I mean, you asked before we went on air, you said my name sounded Jewish, and I told you it was. I mean, is that problematic for you in any way?
No, it just makes me understand the reality of the people that I'm dealing with. You know, I invite you to Islam as I would invite a Christian or a Jew, you know, or a Hindu or a Sikh. So I just want to know about the reality of the individuals who I'm talking to.
So you usually ask for the religion of the person you're interviewing? In other words, you asked Sean Hannity what his religion was last night? Is that how it works?
He's a Christian, so, you know, I invite him to Islam as well. I know that. He's spoken about his Christianity before. Well,
I'm open. I mean, I'm open about my Judaism and my support for Israel, and also my support, by the way, for Christians who are being slaughtered all over the world by Muslims. So what mindset do you now? In other words, how do you look at me because I'm Jewish? How do you prepare for that?
What about the Muslims who are being slaughtered in Palestine under the guise of you know, protecting themselves?
I don't know. Well, the Muslims that are being slaughtered, if you're talking about Gaza, yes, they were slaughtered
by children bombed.
They were. That was the fault of Hamas, who told these people not to evacuate when Israel gave them warning. I'm not going to debate the war, but it's interesting.
What about the occupation?
There is no occupation, sir. I got Anjem. Let me ask you a question. When was there a Palestine? Who was the leader of Palestine? Who was the president, the king?
Tell me. From Russia and Europe.
No, tell me. When you're not answering my question.
They stole the land. It doesn't belong to them.
Right. Who'd they steal the land from?
Israel has a birthday. What was before the birthday?
Who was that?
Okay. They're occupying somebody else's land.
Mr. Choudary.
So you support occupation and stealing land.
Mr. Choudary, who controlled Jerusalem before the war in '67? Who controlled Jerusalem?
Who controlled it before the...
I'm asking you a question. Can't you answer any question? Didn't Jordan control Jerusalem? Wasn't the West Bank controlled by Egypt?
Aren't the Jews occupying?
What?
Shouldn't they go back to where they came from, Europe and Russia?
Okay.
Isn't that the best solution? Instead of occupying someone's home and slaughtering them and bulldozering down their houses, isn't that the best solution? Go back to your own country where you came from. Why are you occupying somebody else's country?
My country, where I came from, is the United States. There are many Israelis born in Israel.
Well, then maybe they can join you in the United States. Why are you living in Palestine and taking people's houses?
Again, I ask you. What was the government of Palestine? Who was in charge? Who was the king? Who was the president? Who was the prime minister of Palestine? Give me one name, I beg you. One name.
The land of Palestine, the whole of what Israel today occupies is Muslim land and will one day be liberated.
All right. I thought we're here to talk about the terrorist attack, which you have condoned, not condemned. But I started by asking you if you have a problem with me being Jewish, and you said you like to know the religion of your interviewer. And I asked you if you had, so what's your mindset with me? And immediately you attack me on Israel, right?
Well, you introduced yourself as a supporter of Israel. I just said I want to invite you to Islam. You're the one who added Israel, so I added a few other things.
Because you asked me if I was Jewish. Because you said Sean Hannity's a Christian. And I said that I'm a Jew. Yeah, I invite him
to Islam, but America as well are the biggest terrorists in the world. The Americans, the Israelis, are the biggest terrorists. They've killed more people than these people in Paris. Come on, let's talk about state terrorism. Let's talk about the crimes of Israel over the last 60, 70 years. How many did they kill in Sabra and Shatila? the butcher of Sabra and Shatila, Ariel Sharon. I don't think the people in Paris bashed that, did they?
You're very funny, and you won't answer one question. So now we'll go to the terrorist attacks, okay? Because you didn't answer one question I asked you, which is par for the course with you.
Okay. Talk about Israel and America.
Okay.
Let's talk about the 2 or 3 individuals in Paris.
Let's talk about the who? The who individuals?
Let's talk about the 1 or 2 individuals killed in Paris, because if you want to talk about thousands or hundreds of thousands, we'll have to talk about Israel and America.
All right, great. That's great. Let's move to Paris. You think that this attack was justified, correct?
No, I think it was provoked. I think that the French regime for years have been provoking the Muslims. They banned the burqa. You know, you can't build a mosque now in Paris. Jean-Marie Le Pen and Brigitte Bardot and others, it's open season when it comes to attacking Islam and Muslims. And this particular magazine for years have been satirizing under the guise of satirizing. You know, this is a euphemism for attacking the honor of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, revered by a quarter of the world's population. They have heightened security. The French embassies around the world knew an attack was coming, because the Prophet said, whoever insults the Prophet, kill him.
But you believe that this is a justified response to what you're describing, correct?
I believe it was an inevitable response to attacking any of the honor of any of the prophets of Allah.
All right, well, let me ask you a question. Why is it...
People will take this into their own hands.
Why is it only Islam? Why is it only Islam and certain members of Islam who react that way when the Pope is mocked, Jesus is mocked, Israel and Israelis and Jews are mocked? Why is it only Islam that has these people in it, people in it that react this way?
Actually, it's not true, because I did a demonstration in this country when they portrayed Jesus as a homosexual. And
who got killed? And who got killed?
If you allow me to finish my answer, that will be useful.
Well,
I and Muslims like me defend the honor of all of the prophets of God.
You're not answering me. Who got killed when they put a cross in a piss jar? Who got killed?
Can I just finish answering your question, or would you prefer to answer your own question?
You won't answer my question. You don't answer any of my questions.
Allow me to answer it the way that I want to.
Oh,
This is not Israel, where you're oppressing people and occupying people's houses.
All right, Anjem, you really exposed yourself by asking me if I was Jewish off the air. I'm glad we got that in on the air, and I'm glad your reaction was what it was. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. All are welcome on this show, ladies and gentlemen, even him. We'll be back with more after this.